as always, we first navigate to the database collection zone. And then inside this database collection zone, we go down to the review databases and we open up the monthly review. And the first thing we do is we're going to explore the properties of this database. And as you can see over here, that is going to be a very short exercise because there's only 2 properties and they're pretty self-explanatory. So over here, we have the name of the month. And what I usually do here is I write the name of the month and the year in which it took place. And then over here, we set the date span. So we track the actual dates that this month took place. And the reason we do this is so that we can easily sort the database so that we have the months in the right order with the most recent ones. Oh, shouldn't delete that one. With the most recent ones on the top and the oldest ones at the bottom. And also, if for some reason we might miss a month or maybe even miss 2 monthly reviews, then we can also use it to say here, this one took place from January 31st till March 31st, 2024, right? So this was a 2-month period instead of a 1-month period. And sometimes what I will also do then is just say January and March, right? So this 1 monthly review then becomes a larger one. For now, let's just reset that. And then let's have a look at the view in which we most often will open our monthly review. So over here, we have a gallery view in which each month has its own personal cover. Now, I really like this artwork. This artist that made all these beautiful abstract art. I will tag him in the description down below. And I decided to make a custom cover for each of the different months. That also means that when we create a template, the initial template doesn't have a cover, but in the links down below, I have linked a folder with all of the covers for the entire system. So we can just simply take this one. I'm going to say June 24th. And then we can just add this cover from the monthly review covers. And we're going to grab the June one. And just like that, we have a beautifully designed page. Okay, then the next thing that we can do is that we over here then enter the date span. So I'm going to say end date is 30th of June. And then we can actually start executing our monthly review. So let's explore this monthly review template. The first thing that we do is actually the last thing that we do during our previous monthly review. And that is sort of looking ahead to the upcoming month. And the first question there is, what are my intentions for the upcoming month? Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up in my relationship? What is my intention? How do I want to feel this month, experience this month? Just think about that for a bit. And in the moment, it might feel that, I'm writing all this stuff down. This is definitely not going to happen. But you would be surprised how much power just setting a little bit of intention can have. Then the second question is a bit more concrete. And here we ask ourselves, what would make the upcoming month awesome? What is something that could happen this month, something that I could do, something that I can engage with that would really make this month awesome? So this is more feeling-based. This is more doing-based. All right. During this monthly review, we check in with the intentions we set last month. And then the next thing that we do is we go into our weekly reflections. Now, if we did our weekly review consistently, this page will look something like this. More often than not, though, we will have missed a week or missed 2 weeks. So maybe we only have 2 or 3 reflections in here. But the purpose of this view is that in a very easy way, we can track back through our previous reflections, right? So we can just open up some of these reflections and then read through them. Usually we have a whole bunch of reflections written down in this writing space, and we could just read through our old reflections. And this is exactly what I talk about when I'm saying we are layering these reflections on top of each other. Because during this monthly review, I can check in with how I was feeling on a week-to-week basis in real time. And if in 3 of these different reflections, I notice that a certain person triggered negative emotion or a certain situation was very rewarding, then that is something that I can use. Something that I can use for my deeper monthly reflection. These are a whole bunch of questions. And once again, here I would remind you, you don't have to do everything. You can design the system to fit your own needs. So maybe you only want to do 3 questions, or maybe you do want to have all these prompts, but only choose to answer a few. That is perfectly fine. You don't have to do the whole thing. But these are questions that help you to prompt that deeper level of reflections. A question like, what thoughts or ideas have been occupying my mind this month? What is something that's been recurring, right? And maybe that's also something we notice from these weekly reflections. And is that something I want to hold on to? Or is that something I want to change or let go of? Or another question like, what's my happiest memory of last month? Or who were the people that were most important to me? We're asking ourselves these deeper questions that can really help us to get to the heart of who we are, right? So that's the monthly reflection. And once again, you can pick a few of these questions. You can change these reflection questions, which is something I will show you in a later video. And that is the reflection part of the monthly review. The next part of the template is about reviewing our processes, reviewing our planning. And the first thing that we review are the active SMART goals. These are the SMART goals that we are currently working towards. And these are always in relationship to a project, right? Every project has a SMART goal. So, for example, one of the SMART goals that I'm working towards is to sell 10,000 copies of anotion.life and create a fully automated sales process. Maybe I've come to the realization that actually this SMART goal doesn't match my current ambitions. Maybe I only want to sell 5,000 copies. Or maybe actually I do not want to create a fully automated sales process, but I only want to have the emails being automated. Once a month, we can sort of check in with these SMART goals and see, am I on track with them? Do I want to keep pursuing them, or should something be changed? And I think this is very valuable because sometimes we set goals and we just hold on to them for too long, even when they're no longer serving us. Or maybe we even set a goal that is not ambitious enough. So yes, there's a balance. Sometimes we let go too easily. We set a goal and we just don't properly try to achieve it. But I think also very often we might get stuck on a goal. So this is why we review this on a monthly level, right? We take some time. We don't do this every single day. Like on a day-to-day level, we know what we're doing. We know what we're working towards. But once a month, when we're in this deeper, more reflective state, we have an honest look. Is this goal really serving me? Is this really something I want to keep pursuing? And if not, then it's also perfectly fine to quit. And that is also something that we have in our project reflections, right? If I have my project tracker over here and I open up this project, one of the questions that we asked ourselves during the definition of done session is, what would it take for me to quit pursuing this goal? So this could also be a moment during that monthly review to check in, hey, it is almost July 1st and I haven't sold more than 100 copies yet. Maybe now it's time for me to quit this goal or to change this goal, right? So during our monthly review, we can also take some time to check in with these reflections. And if we think it's necessary, we can change our SMART goals. That is the goal part of the review. Then in the next tab, we have our next up projects. And these are projects that we haven't started yet, but that we might have planned for the future. And over here, we have this dummy entry for our next up project. And I already planned this one for July 1st till August 31st. And I can see it's almost July 1st. So maybe it is time to actually open up this project and get it started. I can either do that in the moment here and now, but if that takes too much time, right, because starting a project can take quite some time, I can also schedule it as a task to do later on. And then inside this project, I can do all the preparatory questions, I can prepare the whole project, and when I'm ready to do that, I can change the status from next up to active. And just like that, this has now also become an active project. So just change that one back. So that's our next up project section. Then the last thing that we do in our action-related review is that we check in with all of our habits. During the habit tracker video, we explored how we can create new habits, how we can integrate them, but also that sometimes we want to terminate them. If we realize at some point, I've not been sticking to this habit or it's no longer serving me, then we can also terminate them. So what we do during the monthly review is we check in with all the building habits, which are the habits that we're actively tracking right now. And then we just see, is this still something that I'm building? Is it something that's more integrated now? Or is it perhaps a habit that has been terminated because it's no longer serving me or I wasn't able to stick to it? And we can take this to build new habits, integrate them, or either terminate them. And once again, this is just something we do on a monthly basis. The whole purpose of this monthly review is to take a block of time where we consciously, deeply think about these things so that we don't have to think about them on a day-to-day basis, right? So it might seem like a lot of time and energy, but it's an investment, because by making this investment, we offload this mental worry, this mental capacity during our day-to-day life. So that actually allows us to be in the moment, do the work, knowing that we will get to this stuff at least once a month, right? So that is the habit management section of the review. Next up, we have the knowledge review, and we are going to do two things during this review. The first one is that we're going to look at the knowledge rating. And like I showed earlier with the graph, over here, we're only going to engage with that very high value knowledge, the knowledge that is really valuable to us. And then we have the opportunity here to take a knowledge piece and upgrade it from a single diamond to either a double diamond or even to a triple diamond. So let's say, for example, that this book, Leadership and Self-Deception, that one was really valuable. And as I spent some more time with it, maybe I read further, I wrote some stuff, I realized this one is really, really, really valuable. Then I could just take this knowledge piece and drag it into the 3 diamonds. And now the rating for this knowledge piece, knowledge rating, has increased. Right? Similarly, I could do that for Atomic Habits. That was also a good book. And maybe the Sauna Report was good, but not the perfect thing. So I'm just going to put it on 2 diamonds. And like that, we can start increasing the rating on these knowledge pieces. Now, these pieces are the most valuable knowledge that we create. And this is a long-term process, right? We create something during the day, we rate it during the week, then we rate it during the month. It takes a long time for these to sort of coalesce, but then at some point you have this database of information about which you know this is where the value is hidden for me. These are the valuable gems of knowledge, and that's why we sort of increase this rating. Now, you won't see it with these knowledge pieces because they're too old, but if it's a relatively new knowledge piece, upgrading its rating will also increase the amount of days that we have left to work on a certain knowledge piece, right? So that keeps the knowledge active for a longer go. And to get a better understanding of what that means, I can highly recommend checking out the knowledge database video. Cool. Next view that we have over here is the completed knowledge view. And this is basically all of the knowledge pieces that we have completed in the past month. And the way we do this is we have a filter which says the knowledge piece is either created or last edited in the last month. And the way we do this is by saying this knowledge piece was either created or last edited in the previous month. And then the action and status is completed. And the way we do this is we have this very complicated formula, which is explored in the knowledge database, which basically checks, based on the rating that we gave to a knowledge piece, how many days we have to work with this knowledge piece, right? That is what I showed you earlier, how many days are left. And as long as we have more than 0 days left, it will be in progress. But the moment it hits this 0 point, right, we no longer have the time and the energy to work on this knowledge piece, it is automatically completed. And then during our monthly review, we can just check in with all the knowledge pieces that we created, both to give us that confidence boost, to show us all the work that we've been doing, but also maybe to have the opportunity and say, this one, it is completed, but it deserves a little more time. Then we can always open it up as a fresh knowledge piece, right? So this is reviewing the deeper level of knowledge. Cool. Then over here we have a bunch of checkboxes to review our finances. This is optional. I think it's good to review your finances once a month. You can just pay all your open bill, check if all the outstanding requests have been paid, review your cash flow, review your investments, just basically cover some of your finances. Currently, we don't have a section on finances in the Notion.life system. If that's something you want, let me know and I can build that for you. For now, it's just a bunch of checkboxes. Last thing that we do, which was also the first thing that we did, is we create the monthly review for next month. So I'm going to say July 24th. Going to add this date span. Going to once again add the cover for July. And then we start our month with clarity and intent. So over here, we're going to write down those intentions that we set for the upcoming month and what would make the upcoming month awesome. And that then ends the review process. And then during the next review, we start the process once again by checking in with these. And just like that, we processed our entire month, reflected on everything, and started the next month with clarity and intent. If this video is valuable to you, then please like and subscribe down below. It really does help.